Hi, Dr. Tamara. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
That's the right way, right?
Yeah, Tamara's
Or
fine.
Dr. Ghazi.
Tamara's fine.
Okay, Tamara. Thank you for coming to my show, The Rice Pudding Project. It's a very just chilled out, relaxed conversation. I like to interview and talk to people who are successful, who are inspiring, who maybe have struggled and have overcome struggles, and just everything.
Thank you.
Rice pudding has been my biggest struggle in life.
Okay.
It's food, so that's a big problem.
Yeah.
It has been a big battle for me, but it also is something I was forced to eat as a child by my dad.
Oh.
And my dad is a tough individual.
Okay.
So rice pudding signifies
Okay.
that I can't eat rice pudding.
Yeah.
One day
Anymore.
maybe I will. One day maybe I will, but it's along the list of foods that I can't eat. But so yeah, that's why I call it the rice.
Not
pudding
even
project.
mango sticky rice?
I've never had.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
missing
I can't
out.
eat mango. Like I'm not really like mangoes are one of the things I can't eat also.
Oh, my favorite food.
Yeah,
but
my son, my wife love them. I just can't. And like, yeah, it's one of those weird ones. With like mango yogurt, no. Mango juice, no. And I know everyone loves them, but not me. I can't. And I've never had the sticky rice.
Yeah,
It's just,
preference.
yeah, it's a weird one for me. Hot milk, I can't drink. So, okay, so I know you because obviously you own and you founded DISC.
DISC.
You explained. this.
Diversified Integrated Sports Clinic, but most people know us as this.
As
Yeah.
this, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I had an injury back in 2016. I came
Yeah.
to see you guys in one of your branches, and now you've obviously got multiple branches in multiple
branches.
countries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And I have to be very honest, because that's how I am. I have a weird, freaky fetish with the cracking.
I know a lot of people do, and people always ask me, "Do you watch videos on YouTube?" I'm like, I absolutely do not.
You do not?
I mean, I do it all day. The last thing I do is, and I think when you know what the sound is,
Yeah.
it becomes less exciting, I guess. It's just gas being released from your spine.
Does
But
somebody
people
look-
have all these ideas about it, but it is so
Yeah.
relieving, right? So.
Yeah, it's so really because I've like seen the noises and I've sent them to like I sent them to Dr. Kate and I'm like, why do I not sound like that? She's like, sometimes they use like pasta.
Yeah.
And and like
And
they put
mics.
the microphone.
So
yeah.
you put mics, and then I mean the cracks are there, but they're obviously amplified. And when you get adjusted in real life, you're kind of like, that's it. Like,
Yeah, like, how
I was
comes I don't
waiting for
get-
this grand moment, but that's it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think like watching them like these are amazing. But like I grew up, I played goalkeeper as a child, and I would like dislocate my fingers and hurt my fingers. So I was always been cracking my fingers.
Yeah.
And then I learned to like crack different.
Yeah.
And then it was like, no, you're gonna get arthritis. Don't crack your
Yeah,
fingers
no.
and all
That's
this stuff.
that's all a myth. Many
I'm,
things. Yeah.
I'm fine. Like I
Yeah.
don't have, the only thing that's like I've been doing jiu-jitsu for the last couple of years, last year, and then that's a bit sore. But
Well, I'll
there's
tell you
no
something.
issues.
An adjustment, or what people know as cracking, an adjustment is just introducing mobility into a joint, which releases gas. So you cannot have arthritis by introducing mobility into joint unless you overdo it. So, for example, I wouldn't even over adjust someone or adjust someone who doesn't need it. But yeah, we tell people don't crack your knuckles all the time because you'd be a bit hypermobile in some areas.
Okay.
You don't want to do that. You're
Yeah.
introducing like micro trauma.
Yeah.
So yeah, over time, if you did it a lot, you may feel sore. So that's it.
but
Not the end of the world.
And I really recommend it. I'm not trying to like sell anything, but like whoever hasn't done it, it's like I've been like, because I used to like try and swim or when you're at the computer or whatever, and sometimes you just like your neck just doesn't move, or your
Yeah.
body just doesn't feel that way, and then when you do an adjustment, you're like, oh, I can move my head like
Yeah.
I didn't know that my body was supposed to do that,
I
and
mean,
it's just
all of chiropractic is holistic. It's not just the adjustment, right?
Yeah.
Even us as chiropractors, I think most of us have evolved over time. Adjustment is like 1% of my whole treatment.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of bonding, counseling, talking,
Yeah.
other things, myofascial work, rehab. So yeah, for sure. It's so important that we take care of our body. For me, body is number one. And mastering your body and mastering your health is probably the most important thing in life. And I feel like if you got that, you kind of have everything.
yeah,
And
because
I think you can understand that.
yeah,
also
because
related
it
to
doesn't
that.
matter how much money you have or how successful you are, if you can't walk, talk, or you're not healthy, health is wealth, literally.
Exactly.
Like look at Steve Jobs. I mean, Steve Jobs was a
Yeah.
prime example. Super successful, everything, had all
Yeah.
the money in the world, and he couldn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy, and I think in this day and age, a lot of people are not prioritizing their health.
Yeah.
Mental health, physical health, everything, and we're going in this.
I think life can be just a bit overwhelming, and I think now with like the internet and you have social media and there's so much out there which can also be overwhelming. But I think the pace of our life is just crazy,
Yeah.
and especially when you live in a big city like Dubai, like life is you're just constantly on the go. So for a lot of people, it's like one day, and then just that day doesn't come. But I feel overall there's been a mass, awakening,
Yeah.
and here we have amazing initiatives. The government is incredible with pushing these initiatives. Now we have 30-30 coming up. So, people know, but yeah, majority of people don't do. I have that conversation with my parents every day. So there's still a majority of people that just don't do,
But how,
even though they know.
how do you, because you have five branches, right?
Yeah.
So you have to oversee five branches,
Yeah.
and you're like, how do you manage time? Because there's only
It's
so many
number
hours in a
one
day.
thing in the world for me is movement. Like it's
Okay.
my number one priority over everything.
Okay.
Because it's not only for me the physical health and benefits it gives me, but it's the mental release it gives me is incredible. I got into running first when I was in college. All my friends were quite active. I was studying chiropractic. People are quite woke, in that sense. I was living in California, and I remember coming from Canada, which was super cold, and I was, studying so much in my undergrad, and of course you're young and you want to explore life in different ways. And then I started running, and I remember even the first major injury I had was from a race I did, but the relief it gave me mentally and the discipline it gave me was amazing. And then a lot of people are telling me, have you ever not taken a break? Never in my since I was 21, I don't think I've ever taken a break from exercising. 2-3 days here and there,
yeah.
but movement doesn't have to be complicated, and I've always found a way to do something, whether it's walking or hiking or adventuring, and it just brings so much joy to my life. I don't overcomplicate it.
Okay.
And yeah, so for me, that's number one priority. I will always prioritize my health and my fitness, and also as a health practitioner, I don't want my patients to look up to me and say, oh, she doesn't practice what she preaches. So for me, that's why it's so important, not only for my career, but for who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And it teaches me so much. I can relate to a patient
Yeah.
by understanding movement.
So literally practicing what you preach.
Basically,
And did the running get you into the medical field, or was that?
No, it was the opposite. It was the medical field that got me into sports.
Yeah.
And I don't only run. I love yoga. I used to, do a lot of CrossFit. I love weightlifting. I do, everything. I kite surf. I like to wake surf. Anything that involves movement, I'm always willing to try.
I love this taboo about weightlifting,
Yeah.
because my wife lifts.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh, but you're like
the
they look at
taboo
it
is
like women
changing.
shouldn't. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
over the last 5-6 years, big time.
Yeah.
But everyone thought that if you
Yeah.
lift weights, you're going to be this big chunky
Yeah.
man or woman, and
No.
it's ugly and everything. It doesn't make sense,
Definitely not,
because you
yeah.
need the muscle because especially as you get older, the body.
The only
deteriorates
way
and
you're
stuff.
going to grow when you weightlift is by food. And we've learned that. All of us have learned that.
Yeah.
Food is what fuels and nourishes us, but it can also be our worst enemy.
Yeah.
But when you're training with anything, even when you're running, people are always like, I run to burn calories. No, you burn calories doing any kind of movement, but it's how you want your aesthetics to be, how you want your muscles to change, and obviously how you feel yourself. So I've also learned that the hard way. I used to run and eat whatever I wanted because I was young and I can burn, but I realized over time if I wanted to look a certain way, not feel a certain way, because you need food to fuel. And
Yeah.
especially when you're in performance, this whole now you see it on Instagram, calorie deficit, calorie deficit. I'm never in a calorie deficit if I want to perform. If I want to work 12 hours a day, I want to run 21K before I go to work, and I want to feel great, I'm not in a calorie deficit. I eat to fuel, and I eat for energy.
You said run 21K before you go to
I
work.
mean, yeah, I've done that many times. Right now, no, but yes.
Yeah, just add it, you go to 21K, be in office by what time? Or
My priority, usually 9:30, 10. I like to work late. So I like to get, the mornings are for me. I train, I do my emails, I work, I get my focus together. And because when I'm with patients, I don't have time to do anything else.
So what time, typical day, what time do you normally wake up?
5:36.
Okay, and that's after how many hours of sleep? Because this is a
Always,
big thing.
always 7.5 max. Minimum.
Oh, you're 7.5 minimum.
No, I'm in bed by 10 max.
So you need that 7.5.
9:30, 10, yeah. I'm in
Okay,
bed, yeah.
okay.
If I go to bed later, I'll wake up later, or I'll change my workouts to adapt.
Okay.
Heat, unfortunately, here prevents me from getting up at the time that I'd love to get up, which is 7 a.m. It's too hot, so you got to get up super early to run. Otherwise, I'd get up at 7,
Yeah, true.
But that's the
Okay.
biggest issue here. So I get up early, I run. I love the quietness of the morning. I love watching the sunrise. It's just so peaceful. The
Okay.
roads are empty,
All
I
right.
get to connect with people I love, that have similar interests. Go for a run, go for a workout, come back, shower, have breakfast, answer my emails, do everything. And then I'm at work with patients till 7. And that's usually between Dubai and Abu Dhabi in the different branches. So
Okay. And so you said that you grew up in Canada.
I was born here.
Oh, you're born here?
Born and raised here. My parents met here, so I'm actually Emirati.
Okay, really? I didn't know.
No, I'm
Okay.
Iraqi Palestinian, but yes,
Okay.
Emirati by birth. So.
All right. And then you
Yeah.
studied, so you studied in
I
Canada.
moved to Canada when I was 9, then we came back here for a little bit, and then I went back to Canada for 5 years, and then I studied in San Francisco afterwards. I did my doctorate there, and I practiced there for 2 years.
Okay. You were in Montreal or Toronto
I
or
was in Montreal for high school, Toronto for undergrad, and then
San Francisco?
Yeah,
Love San Francisco.
yeah.
Very
Best
nice.
best times, best time. But honestly, more than anything, I appreciate life here.
Okay. Yeah.
I appreciate life here more than anything. I love the culture and the values of being here in the Middle East. I love, the community. I love the family style approach of everyone and everything. I love the fact that there's so many expats from all over the world that you become such a third culture kid,
Yeah.
as we all are. And people always ask me where you're from. I'm like, everywhere. It depends. Where do you want me to
The
be
world.
from? Like, I can, it's
Yeah.
so nice to have that. And yeah.
And then,
world's your
so
oyster.
who inspired you to get into medicine? Was it your mom or your dad?
No, actually, it was a family member. But I always wanted to do some kind of healthcare, and I actually wanted to be a female practitioner, an OBGYN.
Oh, okay.
Until I realized lifestyle was important to me. I didn't want to be on call 24/7. I didn't want to be in a hospital environment. And I have an uncle who was a rheumatologist here, and he always used to tell me, don't do sick care, do health care. Sick care is the hardest thing. And I remember when I was really young, I always used to answer, why did you retire at 50? And he was like, you will never understand until you're in sick care to see how stressful it is to take care of sick people. And being in a preventative medicine field where you can take care of healthy people and make them better, so much more, I think, rewarding and long-term less stressful. And now I see how stressful medicine can be on doctors because, first of all, volume of patients. You have to treat each patient as an individual. And yet in the medical field, they don't get to do that because they see such a high volume of patients, and it's so hard to understand someone's story.
Okay.
When you come in with something, it's so important to know who you are, how you sleep, how you eat, what your lifestyle is, how you think. You can't just treat someone in their part. You need to treat them as a whole. And
Yeah.
I feel with the mainstream medical field, of course that's changing now, but it's so easy to be reductionist. You come in, I have this, take this. No, there's so much more. Why
Yeah.
do you have this? How did you get this? What lifestyle factors caused you to get to
Led
where
to
you are
those
today?
things.
And this is something that, I really preach in what I do, and that's why I really look at myself as a holistic chiropractor, and that's why my team, I think, the kind of people I hire are people that really like to communicate, like to connect.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
can attest to that
the
100%.
most important part of healthcare is connection and communication, understanding someone's story.
Yeah.
Because so much of disease comes from, it's not like one day you wake up and you have a disease. It's a buildup of factors over time, lifestyle factors, mental factors.
Yeah.
Everything comes together. And I think now we're starting to understand that that's really what healthcare is about, is understanding someone holistically. But it's also really tough because you have the insurance system that doesn't allow us to do that. You have so many different factors that doesn't allow us to give patients the care that they need. But I really believe that that's changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understandable. Yeah.
Exciting time to be in healthcare. Everybody wants to be in wellness. You hear it everywhere.
Yeah. Longevity.
Wellness.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not just only about living longer. What does longevity mean to most of us? I don't want to live till I'm 100 if I'm sitting in a wheelchair and I
Yes.
can't, I'm
if
not
I can't move,
functional.
I don't want to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want to live well, and you want to live long and well. You want to live, medication free. You want to live functional. You want to be independent.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. And I think that's where the wellness longevity field needs to go.
It surprises me that how many new things. I mean, maybe you know about it, but when you're growing up as a kid, it was just you eat carbs, the things of fat is bad. This is and there's new. I don't want to say discoveries, but there's new analysis of things like that. I never even knew what the fascia was. I'd never heard of
Nothing.
it. And then my wife did
Even
the training.
food, what did we know about? Do we know anything? Now we talk about macros, the micronutrients, and we talk about all of these things. We didn't know anything. We're eat less, you lose weight. Eat more,
Meat.
you gain weight.
That's
you
it.
just eat,
Yeah.
And in our culture, it's eat. I love you, eat habibi, eat more, eat.
The plate has
eat.
to be finished.
Yeah, your plate
and
has to
you're
be
like,
finished.
oh shoot, you didn't like
Or
my
your
food?
dad is a garbage man.
Yeah.
We all have those really strange things. But now I look back and understand where it came from. Look at us. A lot of our families came from war-torn countries. There was lack. So for them, abundance and these things, taking care of their family, came from fueling their family. And so I understand where these things come from. And it's important to understand where everything comes from. So now I educate my parents, say, no, actually, you know what? If you look at longevity, especially for men, eating 1 or 2 meals a day is so much better. Fasting for men, so much better because it promotes cell autophagy. So you get, healthier, longer, it kills cancers, all of that kind of thing. So research changes over time. So it's really, really important to understand these things. But yeah.
I mean, like my family, my dad raised me. So our bonding time was eating food in front of the TV, and it was only the last 8 years, 9 years, I've realized how bad that is for you because you're just mindlessly just eating and eating, and you don't even, the body doesn't even know, the mind doesn't know that you're full.
Yeah.
Whereas if you take away the TV and you're just concentrating and speaking to somebody and hey, how's it going and how was your day?
Speaking makes you eat slower, right? Speaking and connecting makes you eat slower, and then your body has time to register, I'm actually full and I'm overeating.
Exactly.
I shouldn't be eating that much. But it's amazing how much we know now.
It's insane. So, I mean, you have to say, what we were saying, like, the thought process or the stigma or about women has changed a lot, because obviously, thankfully, the world is changing. They're opening up their minds and they're understanding what it is. Did you find it hard growing up to find role models, like female role models for yourself? And if you did, like, who were they?
Funny, even now people ask me, like, and I find that this is something here, but I don't even have a mentor. A lot of us, and that's something I actually am working on the side, but you don't have mentors. It's hard. Like, I have family members, but most of my family members who are female are incredible mothers. And I always underestimated the role of a mother, Whereas now, as somebody who's a businesswoman and a career woman, I value mothers so much. It's like, not only, I can switch off at 9 p.m., they cannot switch off, right? They're 24/7 working, and I see a lot of my female friends that are career women and mothers, and I'm just like, I have no idea how you do it, because that's 24/7. You're switched on 24/7. You have to manage children, a household, a husband, a life, this, that, career. It's crazy, And now I look back and I say, wow, like, they nourished us, they took care of us, they planned our life, they gave, so it is pretty amazing. So I really have these values from them, and I think I can take a lot of these values into healthcare, because as a healthcare practitioner, you're a nurturer. So these things for me are so important. I love to nurture my patients, I love to take care, and my team also. It's important to nurture each other, because we spend 80% of our day at work, and it's a high stress environment. You're absorbing energy, you're taking in people's stress and emotions, so it's important to learn how to release that and not take that in. But yeah, I think these women are still, even though they weren't, business women and career women, they're still my role models in so many ways, because even when we were not good, even when we were crazy, they still managed to maintain, the love and affection and care that they gave us. And for me, I didn't have a mentor in that way, but these were my mentors in so many ways, and I think it's pretty amazing,
Do you have any older sisters or siblings?
No, I have a younger brother, but
brother. Okay, is he in the medical field as well? Or?
No, he's now in finance, so.
Okay.
Yeah. We still argue about medicine all the time. Get fit.
He's
Get
not.
off the chair.
He's not. He doesn't follow your advice.
He loves sport. But you know how it is in this world. Like, when you're sitting all day behind a computer, it's hard.
Yeah.
And you have complaints of pains and aches. Like, you have to make an active effort. Plus, we live in a really hot country, so you can't just get up and walk.
But also, why does he need to take care of himself? His sister will fix him.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my mentality.
My whole family. I tell them, if you don't take care of yourself, I'm not going to fix you. Like, that's what.
My mom fixes teeth, and she'd be like, "You need to floss twice a day. You need to brush your teeth." I'm like, "Why? Why do I need to?"
I have you.
Literally, I'll just come to you every 6 months. You do a cleaning, and I'll be good, and then I'll be set again.
Yeah.
And she's like, "It doesn't work that way." I'm like, "But so far it's working fine."
But it's funny that the people who take you for granted the most, your family, are for me the people that don't listen to me at all.
Yeah.
So,
I have people come and ask me, and then like my family will ask me advice, and I'm telling them, they're like, I'm not sure, and they'll ask some stranger, and like, he or she said, I'm like, but I told you the same thing.
No.
They're like, yeah, but they're like, and I'm like, they work for me.
Yeah.
Like, I know more than them.
It's easier. It's easier to listen to someone you don't know, but I just think in general, people will always do what they want at the end of the day. You can tell them and tell them and tell them, and I've learned that the hard way is you can't change anyone. You can change yourself and expect people around you to shift because you're shifting, and that's why for me, if I want to inspire people, I focus on me. I don't focus on them.
Yeah.
If I want to get fit, all of my closest friends are all people that love movement. They love in every different way, whether it's paddle or yoga or dance, or they love their bodies and they love movement because I love movement, and these are the people I'll attract. When I work on myself and my energy, the people around me are going to work on themselves and their energy, and I think that's the most important thing, is to focus on ourselves, and everything around us will transform. And I'm a huge believer of energy. Everything in life is energy. I talk to my patients about it all the time. Even pain. I talk about pain with a passion. Pain is an emotion. It's a feeling. And people are so consumed by pain because pain sucks and the feeling sucks. But I tell them, like, look at pain as an amazing thing. Pain is here to change you. It's here to teach you, talking to you. So listen to the pain. Stop masking it with, anti-inflammatory, and stop running away from the pain. Face the pain. Understand, why do I have this? You know, it's not normal for people to be in pain.
Yeah.
When we have pain, our body's talking to us. So
It's
I can
warning
tell
signs,
you,
right?
yeah. And even as a doctor, like, you come to me, I can figure out maybe where the pain's coming from. But you're the one. Okay, yeah, you want to know if it's a disc or if it's set or if it's a, sciatica or whatever. I can help you with that. But you need to tell me why you're getting. What are you doing in your life that's bringing this on, and then how can we change that?
Yeah.
Stop doing what's bringing you pain. Change. So it's so simple. It's really so simple. With medicine, with the human body, it's simple. But the problem is that we allow ourselves to dwell deeper and deeper, and we dig our hole deeper and deeper until we get to a point where it's so much harder to go back.
Yes.
And I see that with every disease out there now. Every disease, if you go back to the roots of the disease, it's eat better, reduce your blood sugar levels, and reduce crazy high cholesterol, sleep better, get sunshine, move, and the root
Simple
of
things.
every disease, and work on your mental health.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. From cancers to Alzheimer's, everything comes back to the root of just normal human health care.
The basic necessities.
Yeah. And all of us are the same. My body, your body.
And I was, at a certain point, like you said, you can eat whatever you want and burn whatever you want. It didn't make a difference. But when I hit like 25 and then I hit 30 and then I hit 40, it became immensely hard to lose weight. But I would I remember, like, from a young age, I would eat like a man, with my dad, because he would make a big bowl of like spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah.
And then he would make a plate like that for me. And then I was expected to eat with him.
Yeah.
And it was like, literally like, why are you not finishing your food? And I'm like, dude, it's a lot of food.
It's a lot of food.
And if you don't finish your food, it's because you're not showing respect to the chef. So if you don't finish this meal now, you're gonna have the same thing for lunch and the same thing for dinner until you finish. And it was that kind of mentality.
It's amazing because they were a product of their time, which is the time of black. And it's amazing how we know. It's funny, people always tell me that, you can eat whatever you want. You work out so much, you burn so much. And I've learned that over time. I mean, we all struggle with body image, and I always like, okay, I'm strong, I have so much muscle on me, but if I wanted to be a certain weight, no, like, I actually, even with all the exercise I do, I can't eat whatever I want because your body doesn't need so much, and we overconsume.
Yeah, you're never gonna outtrain a bad diet. Like, I don't care. But then
And it's not even a bad diet. I eat super healthy.
Yeah.
But even if you eat it in quantity, it's energy in versus energy out.
But then how do you explain, because people will turn around to you, but look at Michael Phelps. He's eats
But Michael
17,000.
Phelps is an Olympic athlete.
Yeah,
like,
but that's the whole point.
The average person.
But then the person says like, but if I look at my BMR, I burn 3,000 calories a day, and if I walk and then I look, my Apple Watch tells me.
I was gonna say, not go with go half, whatever. If your Apple Watch says, burn 600 calories.
It was exactly. It was 300 more like 200.
Yeah, I mean the Apple Watch has your heart rate, but doesn't really understand the kind of food that you're consuming, your lifestyle, your sleep, your this. And honestly, wearables are becoming amazing nowadays. The Oura Ring, the Whoop, they are becoming amazing.
The Whoop,
But for me, it's just you're not an Olympic athlete. You're sitting all day. Yeah, you work out for an hour in the morning, but it's good enough to get your basic metabolism going up, but it's not enough to go bust out a protein shake and 3 breakfasts and no. You're not Michael Phelps. He's training for like 5 hours a day.
I see people, they're having, like 5 eggs in the morning, and I'm like, dude, and like, I need to consume 450 kilograms of protein. I said, for what? What exactly are you doing? So,
look, it depends on their goal. Like some people want to, bulk, or some people have, physical goals. And as long as you understand nutrition, you understand your macro and micronutrients. But people didn't understand that. 2 years ago, we thought acai bowls were the best thing ever in the morning. Now we realize they're just a bowl of candy. It's great, but I wouldn't be having it every morning. They're tasty. They're delicious. But I'll have an acai bowl shared with a friend after I've run like a 21K, and I'm like, I'll have a few bites, and I'm like, but this is not nourishment. And that your sugar is going to spike and then crash.
Peanut butter is healthy. Coconut is, raisins are healthy. It's all fruit. So you opened DISC how many years ago?
10 years in January now.
10 years in January.
Yeah, it's crazy. It feels like it was yesterday, but time flies.
So what's the next, like, what is because it's a successful business. It is very successful.
Yes, it's been very challenging in the last few years, obviously, with COVID.
COVID must have been...
The market's changed so much in the UAE. There's been a huge explosion of healthcare, and it's amazing. I always believe, for me, it's great. 10 years ago, we were super comfortable. We were one of 5 clinics. Now we're one of 100 clinics, if not more.
Who have modeled themselves on you. That's the crazy thing as well.
A lot of them have modeled
Yeah.
them, but it pushes us to evolve and to grow. And for me, we this is just a bit, and then sometimes I'm like, 10 years, it's so long. 10 years is not even a scratch in the surface of what
No, not in the
we
health
want to
industry.
do.
Yeah.
So right now we're in the process of growing, but also changing our model, realizing for me that what I offer a patient isn't enough. Just having basic musculoskeletal care. For example, we just hired for the first time in our life orthopedic surgeons, and I was avoiding that idea for so long, but then I realized we do see trauma cases, and then a lot of times I refer these out, and we don't really know the doctors, so now we have orthopedic surgeons that I trust that work within our environment. If a patient, for example, we had our first surgery, not at DISC, but in collaboration with the hospital. My surgeon, though, who works at DISC, it was a meniscus injury, severe injury, and the patient just was in so much pain. Rehab wasn't working. With a meniscus, it's very hard to rehab anyways. So patient got the surgery, and automatically we were able to rehab him with the orthopedic surgeon. So we're growing in the medical field, but we're also growing in the preventative wellness field.
Okay.
Which means we've hired a pain management psychologist for the first time in my life.
What is that?
So she's a psychologist, but she also, you can see her, an average
Yeah.
person can see her, but she also works with people that have chronic pain. Having a pain for years and years and years, which
Yeah.
you see in a lot of older people,
Yeah.
not understanding where that pain comes from. You need to work on someone's psyche, how you change their lifestyle, their habits. I can tell you, okay, I mean, tomorrow I want you to start, working out every day. You're like, yeah, whatever, because it's not in your habit and your lifestyle, but really digging in and understanding, why are you holding on to that pain?
Yeah.
Is that pain defining you? Is it part of who you are? So you need to work on the psyche. It's mental health,
Yeah.
basically. So we've always worked with our patients in the mental side because we talk to them, but it's not enough. Some people have really chronic pain and are not able to break the pattern. So we now have a psychologist on board to help us.
Because I have a close friend who she suffers from migraines, and she's like constantly.
Yeah.
She's just always
All the time.
all the time, all the time.
Yeah, and look, migraine, you cannot diminish the pain. It's a real thing. She's
yeah.
experiencing a migraine, but understanding where is it coming from?
Yeah, that could help.
Is it a hormonal migraine? Is it a stress migraine? Is it a food-induced migraine? Is it a tension migraine? Is it a
Yeah.
cluster headache? Is it so many different kinds of headaches? So understanding where it's coming from. And some people, let's say it's I don't know, alcohol-induced migraine, which I see a lot.
Yeah.
And then you're not willing to give up alcohol. Well, why? You need to work with someone to understand what's your attachment to this thing. Do you not want to live a better life? So some people are just not ready to let that go. Or chronic pain patients, a lot of patients believe they have to live with something. No, you don't need to live with anything. It's your choice to live with something, but you can also choose to change your life to not live with pain.
Yeah.
By exercising, by living a better quality life, by not doing habits that are pushing you to that pain. But it's very hard for us as normal practitioners to work with this. So you do need a psychologist to work with this.
Okay.
Understanding chronic pain.
Okay.
Pretty amazing.
What's the next step for you in this, in terms of are you does it mean more branches, more countries?
It means more branches. It also means helping other clinics maybe reach their goals. We're launching a
really?
consultancy arm. Yeah, I'm very passionate about that.
So when you say that, people think, well, you're helping the competition.
But competition is healthy. It teaches me so much. When I sit with my competition and I understand their struggles and I understand what they're lacking, it also helps me understand what's in the market. That's also something that's really important. A lot of my patients also ask me, why are you still practicing 5 days a week? And now every single clinic, I work in Abu Dhabi, I work in all my clinics here. Because I learn first of all, I love what I do. And I hate the business side of things. I'm really lucky to have an amazing business partner, an amazing management team. I don't like management. I love people. I love working with my patients. I love working with my team. And it also teaches me what people want. What people wanted 10 years ago is very different than what people want now.
Yeah.
10 years ago, people used to come to me and tell me, doctor, tell me everything. Now they come to me and say, I want this, and I want needling, I want grass, it's changed so much because we have the internet.
Yeah.
People travel. They are exposed.
Why are
and
you not doing this to me? Why I saw that on there?
Especially in this part of the world. Sometimes patients come to me and they tell me things that I'm just like, what? I've never heard of this. Let me look this up. This is amazing. They're like, I traveled here and I tried this and I did. So we want to grow in that division, and the consultancy arm will help us so much. And I really don't believe anything is competition. I think if you change your mindset to that and look at, there's other businesses, but I'm not going to be the only player in the game, ever. This is not the way business works.
That's a very open-minded mindset. That's a very holistic, as you were saying, way of thinking, because you could lose clients, you could, if not.
And I have. Over the years, people come, people go, people try out other products. They come to me when they value me for what I am. But I think it's important to, I've had a lot of team members go and open their own clinics and work at different places, and a lot of my clients go with them. And for me, I don't look at it. If you look at something from a lack perspective, you'll always never have enough. If you look at something from an abundance perspective,
Yeah.
look at the market. The market is growing. What is it? 30,000 people move to Dubai every month.
Really?
Why? Yeah, something crazy. Like, the city is growing so much, so I don't need to be tied on to it. And also, I don't want to see a patient for the rest of their life. Like, if I don't serve you, go find something that's good for you, and let me help people that I can help.
But how do you have that? How does it make? Doesn't it make you feel like you like for not clients, for example, people who work for you, and then they'll come and work for you for a year, 2 years from abroad. They'll learn the market, and they'll be like, oh wow, okay, and then they go and open up their own branch. Does that not make you feel?
It makes me feel
betrayed?
proud, honestly.
Ah,
It
really?
makes me feel proud.
So I'm going one way. You're thinking I'm going to negative.
No,
You're
I
going
mean, look,
completely
the breakup
positive.
is always a little hard, but because I love people, it's hard to let go of someone that you've been with. Again, you're spending all day with someone. It's like family. They become like family. You hang out together. You spend your days together. You eat lunch together. You share your stories. You're vulnerable with these people. But on the contrary, it makes me proud, and it also pushes me to grow. So I say somebody opens something that's similar to what I do. Okay, maybe I need to start offering different services also. I need to grow what I do, because competition is so healthy. You're never going to be the only burger joint in Dubai, right? There's 100 other burger joints. What's going to make you different than everyone else? Juicier meat, cleaner meat, better cut. You just constantly need to evolve, and we need to understand, if I'm living in the middle of a jungle on my own, fine, but I'm living in a community, I'm living in a society, and I cannot be the only one. So I need to understand, I am so proud that DISC is one of the first clinics in the UAE that's produced such high quality talent, and in the beginning I used to tell my partner, oh my God, we're such a stepping stone. People come, because we hire mainly internationally, we don't hire locally from the local market, and we hire people, we educate them, we upskill them, we teach them our brand values, we do all of these things, and then 2 years and they're gone. And Dubai nowadays seems to have a 2-year, and it's funny, I was talking to my dad about this because he worked at his company for 35 years. All my uncles that came to the UAE 55 years ago, 60 years ago, they worked at their company for 40 years, 50 years, and now it's like 2 years, so different. But they came from countries, they came here for opportunity, and the market was so small. The market has changed so much. So people are going to come for 2-3 years and look for their best. It's human behavior, right? Think about evolution. You go back to Darwinism. It's like survival of the fittest. So everybody's going to want to do what's best for them.
Okay.
And I understand. Sometimes what we offer may not be best for them, because we're now a corporate company. We have 4 days a week. We work on rotation. And nowadays people want what they want. They want flexibility. So for me, I can offer what I offer to the best of my ability and no attachment. And that's the most important thing. People will always come, people will always go. And just like my patients will come and go, talent will also come and go. And I find my team even growing in terms of the skill set, their capabilities, because now I see, okay, I hired this person, maybe they don't have X, Y, and Z. Now let me look for someone that has X, Y, Z and ABC also. So
I gotta say, I'm just so impressed with the way your mindset is. Like, there's.
I learned the hard way. I was
So
not
that's
like
what I
this.
want to get to, because, like, because
this
it's
5 years
like
ago,
because
but
I struggle with many things, lots of things, like abandonment issues, everything, and this mindset of you, like, being positive. It's not. I mean, I can be very happy, but I can also be very, very dark.
And me too. And I've
So
been
how
through.
do you? Yeah. So that's what I want to talk about. So. What were some of the struggles that you've gone through, and how did you manage to overcome those?
I mean, struggle. COVID was one of the hardest struggle, right, for all of us. But we're not an online business. We're a people's business. So, but it taught us the hardest things. Growing was one of the hardest things. When we decided to go from 1 clinic to 2 clinics to 3 clinics, a lot of the people that worked with us didn't align with those values. They're like, well, in the beginning, we were very much of a family business. And it took us a long time to realize, no, we're not a family business. We are actually, we want to be corporate in terms of our growth, because we want to grow.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you're working with someone and then one day they look at you, they're like, oh, you own this business, because we never, I don't care that I own, you own. We work together. Most of my patients don't even know that I own DISC. So
Yeah, you don't.
I don't care.
You don't have the corporate hat on.
I don't put that hat on. I don't have the corporate hat on. I love what I do. My colleagues are everything to me. And the different honesty between an owner and an employee, well, honestly, the owner has so much more risk and responsibility. And it's probably the hardest thing, because people can come and go. And I know when I was going through a really hard time, I was telling my partner, I'm so jealous of my employees that can just up and go, because I can't up and go. I'm stuck. I can't quit. I gotta fight for the long run. So you go through difficult experiences. But I always tell someone, I'd rather love and lose than not, love at all. And that's how I am in my business. Loss teaches you, failure teaches you so much. And we failed many times. We struggled many times. When we brought insurances on board, we struggled so we lost millions, millions. And I can't even tell you how much. Like, it killed us. It killed us. We almost lost our business. And of course, people don't see this on the outside. They see the shiny and the glossy and the perfect.
But from the other side, it's so easy for us now.
Yeah.
As a consumer, as a
Yeah.
customer, you come in, you just like, okay, you don't have to worry about anything. So
Yeah.
you have all that stress.
Yeah.
I know the
Yeah.
collections, the billings, things that I just like. Am I covered in insurance? I am. Please, here you go, and then that's it.
And we're really lucky to, I will always take insurance because our vision and our goal was always to make healthcare accessible to everyone. But again, it also creates a devaluation of healthcare because patients will come to us and say, I don't want to pay. I said, do you go to a restaurant, say you don't want to pay for lunch? Do you eat food and say, I don't want to pay? Like my insurance is going to pay for it. But people don't even understand what insurance is. So there needs to be a big education and we're working on that. And the market is obviously changing. But we have to remember also, the UAE is still a young country and there's been so much growth and changes. So I think, the dust will settle for sure. We've had some really, really hard lessons, but we've also had some incredible growth and we've had incredible opportunity. And I can finally say that we're at a place now where, people understand and recognize our brand. There's so much more that we want to do. But yeah, like 5 years ago, I didn't even dream of hiring an orthopedic surgeon. People come to us and ask for salaries that 5 years ago I would have never said okay to. But now we're at a place where through the struggles, we found that light. And yeah, you get attached to people, you lose people, but then you realize, in a hard way to say this, that everyone is replaceable. And you're just part of life. You have to learn how to let go, really practice non-attachment, work on your own issues. I think that's the most important thing. Through all of this, business has reflected so much on my issues, my own abandonment issues, and through therapy and other things that, especially through sport, honestly, it's been the biggest healing and therapy for me that I've come to recognize that you just need to let go and be open and learn, and I'm constantly learning. I never had an MBA. I don't have a business background. Sometimes I remember a few years ago, I sat with my partner. I'm like, how on earth did we even get here? Like, we didn't have a CFO. We didn't have anything. Okay. In the greater scheme of things, it was a lot of help from friends, from family who really stood by us like unconditionally when we needed. Ask for help when you need help. Yeah. And that's something a lot of people are too proud to do. And no, and I needed help. Or don't know
when to do it. It's hard to know when to ask for help.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to show when you're not in a good place. It's hard to, and I always say when I'm not in a good place, like my friends tell me, your energy is so strong, you take us all down with you, So now when I'm not in a good place, I tell my friend, look, I'm not doing well because this is where I am. And then I have friends that come in from, my best friends in human resources and talent. She's like, okay, well, what you're doing here, not a smart decision. You did this without thinking about this. Like, take a step back and think about the bigger picture. It's really, really important to have that guidance. But at the end of the day, there's no reward without risk. And I think it's really important that, some people are so scared to take risk. But if you don't take risk, you're not going to grow. And if you're not okay with falling on your butt, you're not going to grow. So.
But you only learn that by failing and realizing it wasn't so bad. You didn't die, and you just keep on trying.
And look, it's not easy to fail here, right? You can't declare bankruptcy. You can't, you get thrown in jail. So, so it's not easy. It's not like, my friends.
Bounce. You got to
I was traveling this summer, and I was on a trip with all these entrepreneurs, and a friend of mine was like, I want you to meet all these entrepreneurs. And at the end of the trip, I was like, look, thank you so much. But at the same time, all these people live in the U.S. Like, I raised $100 million, and I'm like, this is not the story of most people here. It's a very different environment. But the harder it is, the stronger you become. And I really believe like learning how to have a buffer zone, learning to, through these failures, learning to be a lot more smart with the decisions we took. That's something I think you would not learn anywhere else in the world. And a lot of people also glorify being a business owner. It is amazing, but it's also one of the toughest things that you can do.
I've always wanted to have a business, but
if you don't know what you want,
scares me.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
If you know if you love something and you know what you want, I'll tell you go for 100%. But a lot of people are like, I want to have a business. What do you want to do? I don't know. Don't do it. Don't do what you don't know. I loved what I did from day. I knew what I wanted to do from when I was 16. I knew what I wanted to do.
Oh, you from that early?
I
Okay,
knew
perfect.
not only that I wanted to be a chiropractor, I really believed in integrated healthcare.
Yeah.
I really believed I'm a team player.
Yeah.
Other than sports, I'm not a team player in sports,
Yeah.
but I am a team player in life. And I don't believe in being successful on my own. My success is the success of the people around me. And this is because we live in a society, we live in a community. You know, I'm not alone in the jungle. I'm in a jungle with many people together.
Yeah.
And my growth is the growth of the people around me. And if I don't empower them and they don't empower me, we're not going to grow. I knew that from day one. So I knew if I wanted to go into business, I wanted to go into a multidisciplinary environment. I knew when I treat a patient, you come to me with knee pain. I'm a chiropractor. What do I know about knee rehab? As much as I've learned, but no, I need a physio with me, and I need an osteopath, and I need a sports medicine. I need a team to grow. And in medicine, you always need a team.
Yeah.
To help a patient, because there's so many, a patient is so multifaceted. There's their mental health, there's their physical health, there's their emotional health. So I can't deal with everything on my own. So I think if you know what you want, define what you want. If you want to open a business,
Yeah.
you know, what's the goal? What's the product that you want to sell? And even healthcare, it's a product. We're salespeople.
That's the thing. Like, it's great. It's like you said. It's everyone wants to say they want to have a business. They want a business owner. But also I don't know if I want the stress of managing and having to take care of people, monthly salaries, bills. It's a huge thing.
It's crazy.
If you're a freelancer, you just you figure it out. You get a job and you go full time. But then you have other responsibilities.
And you need drivers and you need passengers, and it honestly doesn't matter what side you're on, as long as you're happy and you love what you're doing. You know, and I say this to a lot of my friends who are in the corporate world. They're like, it's so stressful. I'm like, it's stressful in everything. Like, we're in 2024. We're living in a world with, like, I don't know, how many are we, 10 billion people? Like, there's going to be
it will be, if it's not there yet,
it's going to be
there soon.
stressful. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be cutting edge, you know, like you're going to have some jobs that are 10 to 3, and some people like, I work 2 hours a day or 4-hour work week. And I'm like, it's not reality. It's not the reality of 99.9% of people. And you need to be okay with that. You need to know that if you want to grow, you got to put in the work. No matter what, you know, I have some of my friends that are employees working for huge corporate companies that make insane money. And sometimes they're like, I want to leave. And I'm like, do not, do not leave. Like, just be grateful for what you have if you're happy doing it. In anything in life, if you love what you do, even in, by the way, in training. I mean, let's go back to everything here is so competitive. I run with friends, and it's always like, what's the next race? What's the next race? I don't want to race.
You don't want to race?
I do. I'm racing next year, but like this year.
What are you racing?
I do marathon like once or twice a year. I'm doing Copenhagen. I love that city.
Oh, okay.
Really fun. I did it 2 years ago. I loved it.
You've done it before?
I did it before. It was one of my favorite races ever. Great vibe, great people, beautiful weather, insanely beautiful city.
Yeah.
Insane food. Incredible.
Okay.
Great shopping.
They have,
great.
like,
It's just
famous-
beautiful place. Beautiful museum.
Copenhagen has like some like very high,
Yeah,
like, very
the
famous
Michelin star
restaurant.
thing. Not my thing, but yeah.
What is your thing?
Just,
Food.
I love good quality, healthy food that's made with love and with passion. You know.
And you must have a
you
guilty
feel the
pleasure
energy,
food.
huh?
Guilty pleasure food.
Honestly, after the
After a
race,
marathon, you're not gonna
after
eat a
the race,
salad.
the best thing I had was like those hot dogs on the side of the road. That reminded me when I was young in Canada. You know, you had all these like, great hot dog stands.
Yeah, the vendors.
We
Yeah.
had the best, and I don't eat hot dogs, but the best hot dog I've ever had in my life. We had on that day. It was great.
Have you ever run Chicago Marathon?
No.
Okay.
No, but you know why? Because it's in now.
It's just last
and
week,
like
yeah.
training here all summer. I did that many years ago when I trained for Moscow, and I went from 45 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius, and it was one of the most painful races of my life. And it started at 2 p.m. I think in the morning. Everyone was like shooting back vodka. I'm like, no, never again, never again will I train here all summer. So.
Is there a race that you want to do? That you haven't done?
Is there a race that I want to do? I do want to, not a single, like not one race, but I do want to go. I've done a few, not ultras, but 56K, 60K.
That's ultra.
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't
not
have
like.
to be 100 to be an ultra.
Yeah, but I've done 100, but I want to do something like really significant and meaningful. I
Because
just don't
100
know what.
kilometers is not significant and meaningful.
It's not only about the distance. I want to do something somewhere. I love nature, maybe like a big trail race somewhere. Nothing that.
Marathon des Sables.
Never. This is something where it's like, I'm like men in their midlife crisis. If you're not going to buy a Ferrari, you're going to run marathons sub. I do not sleep in tents. And
thank you. I don't understand. Like, I asked the guy, I'm like, how do you manage it? He said, baby wipes.
Yeah, baby wipes. Yeah, no.
I'm like,
not my style.
Yeah. He had like 8 packs of baby wipes. I'm like, no, that's,
Yeah, I would like to bring something. Well, first of all, I'm huge on women's health, and I think it's amazing, especially as women and men. I think we get healthier as we get older, as we know more. We experience life, we change. And I'd like to do something in a few years when I'm at that stage in life where I'm almost 40 in like a year. So I'd like to do something that's significant and impactful to show people that, no, you can age well, you can age strong. And I have a lot of role models around me in fitness and in health that as they get healthier and stronger and more beautiful the older they get. And that's something that I think I'd want to do, but still need to figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then, all right, so let's say you have a meal. You can invite anybody you want.
Yeah.
What would you serve, and who would be 3 people that you could have that would be either dead or alive that you'd want to be there? You can know them or not know them.
I wouldn't say anyone famous at all. I would say, especially right now with what's happening in the world, I think I would like to invite people that don't have a voice. I think I'd invite somebody from Palestine.
Okay.
I'd invite someone who, from Sudan, from places where people really felt that their voices aren't heard, that, I want to hear people's story. I think we live in such a beautiful environment and place where we're all so lucky, and I'd like to hear the voices of people that aren't lucky, and I'd serve them my mom's food. Nobody cooks like mom.
What dish does she make that is your dish?
Honestly, everything Palestinian and Iraqi, and just amazing home food, really healthy food, by the way. My mom is from many years ago, always researching, always online, always like not use this and not use that and not use this, but she cooks with love, and I think you really feel it. Okay. Everything from kusawara to her biryani, it's just delicious.
Oh, okay.
Just home, really, really good home food. I didn't appreciate enough as a kid, but now I just absolutely love it. Okay. And her chocolate cake is just so good. So, yeah, home cooking with people that I think you learn the biggest lessons from people whose voices aren't heard, and those are the people I'd want to hear.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And thank you for trusting us with your body.
No, yes.
I appreciate that.
I mean, my hamstring is amazing. That double hamstring tear was scary. I thought I was going to be out for 4 or 5 months.
Cycling?
No, jiu-jitsu.
Oh, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, someone jumped guard and I made a mistake, and it was a grade 1 and a grade 2 tear. And
it's something I always tell my jiu-jitsu patients. I don't understand the love with the
I don't understand either, but I just love it. I just absolutely love it. And I've been, it's over a year, I've been training.
Killing each other, but yeah.
I've been trying, I just wanted to do the world champs, and I've been trying to do the world champs, and I really
You will.
I'm back
We'll
now.
get you there.
I'm back. No, Dr. Kate and Dr. Charlotte was amazing. Daniele gave me the advice, and I'm back.
Amazing.
I'm going to be competing in 21
days. To see you
days.
compete then.
Yes. So we have there's secret questions in here. Would you like to answer a secret question?
Sure.
Okay, so you just choose one.
From these cans?
From these cans, whichever one you like from... Okay, just put it on the camera, just get your microphone and answer the...
This is not a good question for me. Have you ever had an arch nemesis? Absolutely not. I just told you how much I love people, and I'm all peace, love, and namaste, so...
but in school, when you're in high school,
never.
Never?
No, I was prom princess. No.
You were prom princess? So who were you?
I was nice to everyone.
Okay.
If not, would you like one? No.
No?
I'm not a war, violent person. I really believe that when you have something with someone, it's a reflection of who you are on the inside. And if you fight with someone, you're fighting with yourself. Okay. So for me, no. If I had an arch nemesis, I'd go up to them and I'd hash it out. And I was like, let's talk about our problem.
But would you say your arch nemesis was yourself?
Maybe.
And your personality pushed you?
100%.
There you go.
100%.
Okay. So
I said I'd be my arch nemesis. It's not even, it's your brain, right? Your brain always tells you you're not good enough, you're not enough, you're not enough. So that would probably be my biggest arch nemesis. And I think I've learned from my healers and my therapists that when you are angry with someone, or you're jealous of someone, or you're upset with someone, all of these feelings come from within, and that's a reflection on yourself. So fix those issues, and then don't fight with people.
Okay.
Life's too short.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.